Welcome back, everybody, to the Starlight Broadcast, yet another Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, Ted, and as always, your other host,
Brad.
Third episode, baby.
Woo!
We're hitting a little trifecta, a little hat trick. What other?
We're hitting it. We got the trilogy
got
already.
the trilogy, yeah. This is gonna be a bit of a different episode. Definitely will have, the usual me getting off topic, Brad trying to rein me in and stuff like that. But
I might get off topic too. You never know.
You never know. That would be probably a bad idea. I would not try and rein you in. I'd go with you. So we actually are doing something a little bit different today. There's going to be a video element to this. So if you're watching it on YouTube, you have a bit of an advantage compared to the Spotify people. If you're listening on Spotify, you don't really need the video, and we'll do a good enough job explaining what we're doing. So it's not 100% necessary. Brad, would you like to tell the people what we're doing?
So today, everybody, Ted and I together bonded, as one would say. We are going to rank, rate, judge all 9 films in the Skywalker Saga in a tier list going from S rank to D rank. We were thinking about doing it separately and having our own lists of like my ranking of the 9 and his. But then we're like, I think it'd be more fun if we just combined it and just did it together just to see what that would look like. So that's what we're doing. I think we're also going to do it to where they are lined up in the tier itself also comes into play.
Yes.
So, but this is our ranking, the Starlight Broadcast as of today, January 30th, 2025, ranking of the Skywalker Saga.
Yes. So this is also, I will admit, like, some of these movies I haven't seen in a while. Some of them I've seen more recently, but we're doing this now because we're going to rewatch all of the movies for the podcast and talk about them, obviously. And then once we watch all these movies, we're going to do potentially another video or episode ranking the movies, see if our list has changed. If we finish all 9 movies and we're like, kind of don't feel like anything should change, then, it'll just be a quick little, hey, we're not doing this tier list again. But it's pretty much the same. Maybe one thing has changed.
Yeah.
But
I was going to start with a question, Ted, because I feel like this question nicely relates to what we're working with.
Okay.
What do you think? Actually, no, I'll rephrase that. What is your preferred viewing order of the Skywalker Saga? 'Cause I'm a firm believer in one of the orders.
I think I do know what you're talking about. My favorite is going 6, 5, 8, 2, 1, 4, 3, 9, 7, and then whatever I missed, throw that at the end. No, I think I'm big on release order.
I agree.
Yeah. George Lucas has been like chronological order, but I feel like you miss out. I can understand chronological order if you've never seen Star Wars in some ways, because then if you don't even know that Anakin is Darth Vader, watching Empire, having that reveal, watching Revenge of the Sith and having that reveal of Anakin turning to the dark side, if you genuinely don't know anything. But if you know that Anakin is Darth Vader going into it, then release order is way better.
I feel like even if you know nothing of Star Wars, I would still argue release order.
No, I mean, that's how people first saw it. And there is there's like a sense of dread when you watch the prequels knowing what's going to happen, especially seeing episode 1, seeing like little kid Anakin and being like, Jesus Christ, this little kid's going to turn into one of the biggest murderers in the galaxy. Oh, no.
Yeah. Speaking,
yeah.
This is a side tangent already. Speaking of Vader being a murderer, apparently in the comics he just killed Watto.
Yes. Okay, that's good. Yeah. So a bit of Star Wars news because I have some Star Wars news as well. So this will be our first bit. Yes, in a new Kylo Ren comic series, it's been revealed that at one point Vader went back to Tatooine and murdered his former owner.
Owner?
Yeah. Watto.
Yes.
I don't care, dude. Good riddance.
Also, too, like, dude, I like in the comics, especially, dude, Vader kills so many people. Like, he's ridiculous in the comics. So, like, the fact that he goes back and kills the man responsible for still holding his mother as a slave, I can't blame him, really.
Yeah, I really can't. It's just so funny, dude. There's a bit in the comics where it's like right after Order 66, so like they're still clone troopers, and they'd captured Jocasta Nu, and they were on like a Empire gunship, I guess. And she was talking, and the clones were like, "Should we kill this Jedi scum, sir?" And she's like, "Ha! You idiots don't even know you're working for a Jedi. This man is Anakin Skywalker." And there's just a panel of like all the clones looking at Vader. And the next panel is outside the ship. And Vader had thrown all of the clones off the ship to their deaths.
Oh my. Dude. It's so good.
It's crazy. Speaking of other news, we've got just a couple new things. Nothing really crazy has come out in the past week or so. I've been keeping my eye on it. I will say Disney Plus just dropped their view times for their top 10 shows, and the second most watched show on Disney Plus for 2024 was The Acolyte at 2.7 billion minutes of view time.
That was what number 2?
Yeah, number 1 was Percy Jackson with about 3 billion. So close, Yeah. I'm just gonna say one got renewed, one didn't. I think Percy Jackson filmed a lot more on sets and on the volume, which kept production costs down. And The Acolyte, apparently I found out the budget bubbled up.
Oh my God.
During post-production. And it actually was like way over budget. So I can understand. And even though it got second most watched for 2024, I think it's still one of the lowest overall Disney Plus shows. So
lowest rating?
Like lowest viewed. I think I can't remember. I couldn't find a direct source on this because I didn't look too hard. But I think like Mando was way over that. I think the finale of season 1 of Mando had 1 billion minutes on its own.
I can't even think of 3 episodes in season 2 of Mando. That would probably get closer to that too.
Yeah. Speaking of, for the rest of the top 10, a total of 6 of the shows in Disney Plus's top 10 for 2024 were Star Wars. Number 2 was The Acolyte. Dropping down to 6th place, Bad Batch Season 3 at 923 million minutes. I need to watch Bad Batch. I really need to. I think I'm just going to restart it.
Bad Batch is good.
I loved the first episode of Season 1. I thought was so good. I rewatched
really
that
good.
like 4 times in a week.
Yeah, and it's a longer one too, which is nice.
I was really hoping that the whole show would be like that, just like these longer episodes, but then it was just nah. Some are a little bit longer, but most are regular. Anyways, 6th place was Bad Batch. 7th place, Skeleton Crew at 914 million minutes.
Yeah, I get up there, Skeleton Crew.
Not too bad. Almost 1 billion minutes.
Not too bad.
In the top 10. Like, hey, that's pretty good. Especially because, this show was a bit quieter. Didn't make as many waves because it was such a kind of a low, like a chill vibe show in a way. Like, it was exciting, but it wasn't something gripping like the average consumer. It was kind of more for the Star Wars fans, more so than like Mando. Mando blew up way bigger than Star Wars. Not that, you know what I mean. A lot more casual viewers for Mando than for Skeleton Crew.
For sure, yeah.
8th place, Ahsoka Season 1, 841 million minutes.
Okay.
which is pretty crazy because that was 2023. No,
No. No. Wasn't it early last year?
nah, dude. There's no way. Hang on.
I remember it coming out in the winter.
Nah, it came out in August to September 2023, man.
It did?
Yeah. August
maybe I just rewatched it.
August 22nd, 2023. Concluded October 3rd, 2023.
Okay. All right. So wait. Okay. Wow. So it's still got that many minutes in 2024.
Yeah, wow.
Interesting.
841. Which, I mean, Ahsoka's all right. I'm excited to go back and rewatch it because I think
It's mixed for sure.
outside input has definitely soured the show in my brain.
Mhm.
And I'm excited to go back and form my own opinion again. Ninth place, though. Mando Season 3. 811 million minutes. Not too bad. You know.
Yeah.
Season 3 was weaker. I'm surprised that it's up here. I won't lie.
I don't know because it was still Mando. I know people were still like, everybody, and like including me, was excited for it. So it's just more of Mando. So I think it had that going on. But I think the more the season went on, people were probably just dropping off of it.
Yeah, but that was also, wasn't that 2023 as well?
I do believe so.
That was early 2023, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, March 2023 until April 2023.
Okay, I think that's what I did. I swapped Mando and Ahsoka in my head of when they released. All right.
Hey, I forgive you. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah. Man, thank you. Yeah. All right, so what's number 10?
Mando Season 1 at 693 million minutes.
Whoa.
Yeah, crazy. No Mando Season 2.
Okay, that's nuts.
This show came out in 2019, and it's still in the top 10 most watched shows on Disney+.
Dude, Mando Season 1, I literally think was a Band-Aid for the fandom.
Oh, yeah. Everybody loved it.
After a certain point.
Yes.
But it was just a expertly crafted show. Season 1, especially, too.
Well, they had Greg Fraser for the DP for that first season, no?
For the whole first season?
I don't know if he was for the whole first season. I mean,
a couple episodes?
Yeah. If anybody doesn't know
That's
who
crazy.
Greg Fraser is, Fraser, he was the cinematographer for the Batman, for both Dune movies. He's crazy.
Among many other things. He's one of the best cinematographers working today.
Yeah. Oh, he did Rogue One as well.
Oh.
Ooh, hang on. Yeah, man.
Gareth Edwards directed the shit out of that movie.
I love Rogue One. I'm excited to get into Rogue One
Rogue One, yeah, that'll be its own episode for sure. Yeah. I feel like Edwards too. Edwards, I think, is in that small pocket of directors. I can't think of any more right now, where he just has such a fundamental understanding of scale and size and gravity. When you watch Rogue One, there are some shots of the Death Star or Star Destroyers or something where you just feel how immense these things are.
Yes.
And it's just great.
He does a good job with that, yeah.
With that, we will not be including Rogue One or Solo in our ranking. This is just main 9 episodes.
It's in our hearts, not on the list.
Yes.
You know, I think I may mention, Solo S tier. S is for Solo. Yeah. No, but yeah, this is just Skywalker Saga.
Yes.
Last 2 bits of news, because this is going on for a while. Destiny 2 announced a collab with Star Wars. Did you see this?
No, I did not.
Yeah, they've got 3 new skins, 1 for each class. Don't know what the classes are. I don't play Destiny 2, but they have a Stormtrooper-inspired skin, an Imperial Guard-inspired skin, and a Death Trooper-inspired skin.
Ooh, all really good skins.
The Death Trooper skin is actually sick, dude, because he's got like a cape.
Oh,
It looks sick. So if you like Destiny 2 and you like Star Wars, that's some good news for you.
Yeah.
Last bit that I have is, for the third time, we've got a new writer announced for the Rey New Jedi Order movie.
Oh, yeah.
This movie was announced how many years ago?
Several.
I want to say like 21 or 22 it was announced.
I think so.
And we're on our third writer. His name is... Yeah?
He's a good writer.
Yes, George Nofly, maybe. He's written... The biggest movies he's written was The Bourne Ultimatum and Ocean's 12. So...
Ultimatum alone, I feel like it kind of makes me more excited for this movie.
Gotta be honest, never seen it.
You ever seen the Bourne trilogy?
I've seen, I think, the first one once. I don't know if you can hear that. My cat is in her litter box. Sorry if that picks up.
Yeah, Wicket. Really good trilogy.
I saw the first one. Okay. Really? Oh, there's...
Yeah. There's a Jeremy Renner one that's like a spin-off, Bourne Legacy.
Yeah, dude. Is he not Bourne?
I don't even know. I never saw that one. I saw Jason Bourne, the fourth one, in theaters, and that was all right. Third act was pretty solid.
Is that the one where it's original, like, Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne?
Yeah, but the line's only in the trailer, not in the movie.
Really? All right, I have no desire to see this movie then.
Yeah, the first three though, like, if you're a Matt Damon fan, dude, essential Matt Damon viewing.
Really?
Three of them. Yeah, they're really good.
All right, good to know.
It's a little bit. Greengrass, Paul Greengrass, the director, he's a little bit like, the fight scenes are kind of shaky cam.
Oh, yes. I've seen...
Not kind of. They are. But there are some good fights. But the whole story about it is really good.
Fire. Maybe I'll get around to that. I've been... 2025 is my year of reading and movies. Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of reading, I have 5 books from the High Republic coming in today.
Yeah.
And I have 1 coming in tomorrow. Very hyped, dude. I'm a little over a third of the way through Brotherhood. I'm going to try and finish that this weekend, and then it's back into the High Republic. And then movies, I'm trying to watch at least 1 new movie every week. I'm doing better, though. We're 4 weeks into the year. I've watched 5 movies.
Nice. I should try and aim to do that. Watch newer movies, or just watch different movies. I gotta watch R.I.P. the genius that was David Lynch. I gotta watch more of his stuff.
Okay,
because of what I've seen of his, I love, and I just gotta watch more.
Not gonna lie, yes, rest in peace. When you said R.I.P., I thought you were gonna follow that up with a D, say R.I.P.D. I really gotta watch that movie.
Oh my god, I
was gonna be so confused.
Never would I say that.
Do you know that movie? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Isn't that like a Ryan Reynolds, Jeff Bridges, dead Western movie?
No, it's like.
Or it's like a
it's
dead
just
cop movie.
Off-brand Men in Black.
Yeah, but they're dead. Like, they're dead.
Yeah.
They're ghost cops.
It's so weird.
Who hunt ghosts or whatever. There is a spin-off, either a TV show or a sequel movie that's in the Wild West, I believe.
Okay.
So cool.
All this to say, Ray movie has a new writer.
Yes.
And hopefully he stays. And hopefully the script is pretty good.
Hopefully, man. I think it would be really cool. Just listen. I like Ray. I like Ray
too.
Give me Jedi Finn, please. I am begging you. Give me Jedi Finn. Please.
Granted, I don't know if Boyega will ever work with Disney again.
No, yeah, he was not happy with all that.
Which
stuff.
You know what? Good for him. Sticking to his guns. Yeah. You know. Recast Finn, sure, maybe.
Nah, you can't do that, man.
I don't want them to. I love Boyega. If you haven't seen Attack the Block, like one of his earlier movies, so good. But I feel like Ray has potential to kind of, I guess, win back fans that I guess don't like her or never liked her. And I feel like, oddly enough, a big point of that is that just she never got injured.
I mean, spoiler alert for The Rise of Skywalker, she dies at one point.
Yeah.
I would say that's pretty injured.
I mean, yeah, but when you if she's the main character, when you compare her to like Luke and Anakin, Luke loses a hand, middle movie. Anakin loses the arm, middle movie, and then all three of the rest of his limbs in the next movie.
Yeah.
So, and granted, all of Rey's struggles in the trilogy are all internal, so that's different. But I think her just taking like some sort of physical damage for her to work past, I think could be cool. And like, I don't want to get into Duel of the Fates, which has some good stuff in it. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, Rey movie, I think has potential.
Yeah, I'm excited. Retcon the end of Rise of Skywalker. Just give her a staff. Give her a double-bladed lightsaber. I don't care.
Please.
Just do it. Just do it. Please, George. Please, George.
Just make her yellow saber only when she teaches. And then give her another saber that's double-bladed for when she goes out in the field.
Yeah, something. Just do
something.
Literally do whatever. Just make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
We get into the ranking.
Let's get into the ranking. So we are going to be going release order, right?
Yes.
So I'll come over to the tier list. I actually couldn't find any tier lists that had just the Skywalker saga. So I luckily it's super easy to make one.
Interesting.
Yeah, but yeah. All right. So we've got S, A, B, C, D. And we'll start with A New Hope. I mean, listen.
Oh, okay.
There's a conversation to be had for S tier, I feel like.
Are you saying it's less than S tier?
No. I'm saying like if there's a conversation, I am starting that conversation for S tier. I think this movie, you couldn't have anything else without this movie. There's such a charm to this movie. Like all of the future Skywalker saga movies. I don't want to keep saying movies, so I'm trying to think of other ones, but I don't, whatever. A New Hope just has like that like low budget B tier sci-fi vibe of like the 70s.
Like boots on the ground, build it from the bottom up kind of feel.
Yeah, like this wasn't a huge movie budget wise, I think, when it came out. It was like kind of a low budget movie, right?
Until it went over budget.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I think happened in pretty much almost every movie of making the original trilogy. Is that like at a point they just all went over budget. But
that's Star Wars, man.
And they made it back. No worries.
Hell yeah. I don't know. I think the plot is really tight. It goes Leia, Luke, gets the droids, R2 escapes, they find Obi-Wan, they meet Obi-Wan, parents or aunt, uncle, that happens. Meet Han, leave the planet, go to Alderaan, get on the Death Star, rescue Leia, go back to Yavin, fight the Death Star, destroy Death Star, medals. Like it's a tight movie. It moves fast and it's over 2 hours.
It never feels like 2 hours long when you watch it.
No,
ever.
To me, it feels like a 90-minute movie. Like,
it flies. It's so
by.
Good.
And like, Alec Guinness does a good job. I think he won an Oscar for his role as Obi-Wan.
I know he was. I think he was nominated.
I'm gonna. Thank God for Google.
Yeah. Right. Which we should know this because.
Yeah. Definitely should. I feel a little. No, he was a nominee for.
So he was just nominated. Okay.
Crazy though that he was Oscar nominated for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Dude, right?
Like, and I'm pretty sure didn't Star Wars win Best Picture that Oscars?
It was nominated. I don't think it won. Yeah.
I'm Googling this again. I want to prove you right. Or prove you wrong. Damn it, it didn't win. You're right.
Yep. Yeah.
All
so
right.
for the original Star Wars 19 '77. The Oscars in '78, obviously.
Yeah.
It won Best Art Direction, Best Costume Design, Best Editing, Best Original Score, obviously.
Hell yeah.
Best Sound, and Best Visual Effects. Again, obviously. Yeah, it was nominated for Best Picture, Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Alec Guinness, Best Director for George Lucas,
Hey.
and Best Writing Screenplay written directly for the screen, which is also George Lucas. So,
Fire.
but dude, still, a movie like Star Wars getting that many nominations and wins is crazy.
Yeah. For like Star Wars, man.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Star Wars in a way is taken less seriously now because it's kind of become like a franchise. Like Marvel movies. Marvel movies don't get Oscar nominations, really. I think Black Panther 2 did, but like that's it.
Yeah.
You really don't hear about it. And
no,
yeah, man, like
it's kind of like horror movies at the Academy Awards. You just when so many horror movies deserve an Oscar, but it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Which is just not right.
All right. I'm thinking let's save S tier for the end. Let's put it in A tier. A solid A tier. And then at the end we're gonna decide what movies we think should be in S. Because I don't want to. I think if we just start throwing things in S tier, we're gonna throw like.
You think it dampens it a little bit?
We're gonna throw most of them in S tier. I feel like S tier should be reserved for like maybe our top two should go in S tier, something like that. Okay. So I'm putting it A tier, solid start. You know? And that if we put A New Hope in S tier, that's saying like no movie surpasses it. I think some do, personally.
That's fair.
Yeah,
especially like the one we're going to talk about now. Empire, baby.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to follow it up sooner than that. Yeah.
Suspense will build up.
Empire Strikes Back. No, I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm just joking. I'm joking. For anybody that's not listening, for anybody that's only listening, I just threw it in D tier.
Yeah, as a little prank.
Just a little jab. Just a little joke.
Just a little jab.
Yeah. Empire. Listen. Okay. On a technical
level,
not to
be said about this movie, dude.
What's there that can be said that hasn't already been said? On a technical level, this movie goes so far above and beyond everything that A New Hope did.
Mm-hmm.
I think, personally, that the writing is better. I think like the dialogue is better. I think the camera work is so much better. I think the editing is better. There's a whole thing about how the original Star Wars was saved in the edit. It was apparently like a very boring movie before George Lucas's wife at the time started working on it. But Empire for me though feels about as long as it is. There are some parts where I feel like it kind of drags.
That's fair.
But at the same time, like, because I was thinking about this last night, I'm like, does it drag? Because admittedly, it's been a while since I've seen Empire all the way through. And I was thinking to myself, does it drag or is it just giving more character time? Because when I started thinking about it, a lot of the slower moments are Han and Leia talking, Luke and Yoda talking, like stuff like that, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So I started writing my notes for it and I was like being negative. And then I was like, well, hang on, this is actually kind of fire.
Yeah.
And I mean, come on. The duel, man. The duel.
Vader's and the song reveal. Is literally called The Duel.
Like, come on. First of all, yeah, real quick, going back to New Hope. John Williams, man. Come on.
Honestly, we're going to need a whole episode just on John Williams.
Yeah.
He's my favorite. He's my favorite composer. Like, it's not even close how much I listen to his music compared to other ones. I'd probably put Hans Zimmer in my second because that dude just does everything.
Hans Zimmer's crazy. Yeah.
But with just John Williams with Star Wars and Indiana Jones alone, he's my favorite. Not even mentioning Harry Potter.
Home Alone.
And Jurassic Park and Home Alone. Yeah, like the dude's everywhere.
His Home Alone track is so fucking good. Like I feel like that's kind of an underrated one. Because I mean, you compare like Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, Star Wars, all that shit. But I'm like,
Jaws.
Home Alone main theme is fucking Christmas banger,
Yeah,
dude.
dude. No, dude, that's Christmas to the full.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like even like in this one, John gives us Yoda's theme.
So good. Yoda,
get-
dude, Frank Oz. I love
Yes.
this. I so much more prefer original trilogy Yoda to prequel trilogy Yoda. I love Yoda when he's just like
Oh yeah, dude.
a whimsical kind of little goblin.
Just a little goofball.
Yeah, just like I can be goofy, but I am the wisest motherfucker you will ever meet.
We get the Imperial March for the first time.
Yes, dude.
We
Oh
get Han
my
and Leia's
god.
theme for the first time.
Yes. It's so
We get
good.
maybe the most like light, kind of inviting songs with like the city in the clouds and Lando's palace.
Mm.
They're
Yeah,
kind
dude,
of like
Lando.
brighter.
Oh man, as a kid, I
Yeah, you get
fucking
Lando for the
hated
first
Lando.
time.
It took me way too long. Not way too long, but it took me a lot of viewings as a little kid to be like, oh, Lando's actually a good guy.
Mm-hmm. So like, even just on the music side, Empire. Granted, I think I might be more nostalgic for a New Hope soundtrack.
Dude, the Binary Sunset theme or song, or is that the Force?
Binary Sunset, Rescue the Princess. Dude, crazy stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah, Empire, I think there's a reason why it's considered one of the best sequels ever made, because it does exactly what everybody wants out of a sequel, which is expand upon the original.
It does a really good job. Yo,
It does a great job.
Hoth, man. How could we not talk about Hoth? The entire fucking
First
opening act of
First act is
Empire,
crazy.
jaw dropping. Like the environment that they're in. They do such a good job of making everything just feel so real. And that does help because, like, you know, compared to the prequels, everything was shot on like green screen and blue screen stages. This was all shot on location and stuff, and that really helps.
Yeah.
But, like, they do such a good job of turning real life world locations into believably otherworld planets.
Bro, literally. I was watching Andor with a friend the other day, and it was when they're on Aldhani. And I'm like, I forget that this is still just on Earth that they have to film.
Right.
You know? Like, they just do such a good job of finding these places and just entrenching you in the world to the point where you're like, oh my God, like they need to film this here, obviously. But it's just like, it's just crazy.
It is crazy to think that, like, Earth is so diverse in its geography that they're able to create a dozen fucking planets based on what we have on Earth.
You're telling me Endor, Naboo, and Tatooine are all Earth, and Mustafa Amkin. But dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
yeah,
nuts.
okay. Now I'm starting to think maybe we should start putting things in S tier because
That's what I'm saying.
having it's gonna clog up either way. Here's the thing though, I think I prefer A New Hope to Empire. I don't know. Right now, I think I would say that. I think I need, like, this is one of the things that I feel like could change. I've always just been a sucker for the cheesy 70s love that Star Wars A New Hope has. But if you want to put Empire in S, I'll allow it.
I don't know, dude. Like, granted, when I was younger, so don't get mad at me because I was younger.
Of course.
Empire was my least favorite of the trilogy.
Same. Oh my God, that's crazy.
I think probably because I found the stuff boring in the middle.
That's what I'm saying.
Probably because as a kid, I'm like, oh my God, there's not enough stuff happening.
That's
Where,
what I'm
like, when
saying, dude.
You take, like, they're just being chased, and then they're being chased through an asteroid field, and like they go in the quote unquote cave, and then Yoda's training. You compare that to the same point in A New Hope, and that's like when all the arguably the best stuff in the movie's happening, when they're all in the Death Star trying to get Leia out.
Yeah.
I guess it just, I don't know. As a kid, I guess it just didn't hold me as much. But then the end fight and everything in the third act is great.
Yeah.
But with that said, I'm like, dude, obviously, I think I'm with you. Empire is a better made movie in every way. To me, honestly, I feel like Empire and original Star Wars both deserve S tier.
Okay. All right.
And Return of the Jedi, but we'll get to see. But that's okay. Do we put Empire in front of A New Hope?
I right now I'd say no, just because I think, just based on memory, I do want to say I prefer A New Hope to Empire. Hot take.
All right. Okay.
If you could make an argument for it,
As to why Empire
should
be over it.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
The explanation and display of the Force through Yoda. There you go.
I did forget about that. That is some good stuff right there.
And that is also one of my strong beliefs as to why you should watch it in release order, because of just the way the Force is explained by Yoda with such an intricate, deep understanding of it.
Yeah.
And you don't when you start with the prequels.
I don't like. I'm sorry, George Lucas. I don't like midichlorians. I'm sorry.
It's an interesting decision for sure. Yeah.
It's the funniest thing to me is that Disney has done such a good job of not ignoring it, but like disregarding it.
Mm-hmm.
And like the High Republic, man, they hardcore go for a sort of Empire Strikes Back description of the Force, which I love, dude. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Return of the Jedi. I'm gonna let you do your little pitch. All right, I'm gonna let you go off real quick.
My little pitch. Oh, do I have to sell it to you again?
No, you don't have to sell it. But I just this is your movie. I'm gonna let you go first.
Yes, I think I will say probably at this point in time, Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie. I've always loved the planet Endor growing up. I live in a small town, and my house is surrounded by the woods. I would just walk in the woods a lot as a kid, and still sometimes now go on like hikes and stuff. So the planet of Endor has always just catered to me. I've always loved it. I like how tall everything is, how like especially the Ewok village, how everything there is made. I like the third act and all of its first act and all of its goofiness with the I guess patched together idea of Luke's plan that he has. But also too, I kind of like the idea that he doesn't have a plan, which would take after his father, Anakin, of like always kind of doing things on the fly, which I kind of like that idea of. I think my favorite character, maybe in all of Star Wars, is Luke, but maybe specifically this movie, because if you watch it again in release order, first thing that we ever see the Force used, even before Obi-Wan's mind trick, I'm pretty sure, is Vader Force choking the Admiral, right? First thing we ever see Luke do after training with Yoda as a Jedi is walk up into dark robes and Force choke the Gamorrean guards. And right there just connects that line of Vader and Luke. And that's the whole thing. The entire movie is, will Luke go there? You know, except for when he's wearing all the Endor clothes and stuff. He's all green, whatever. But he's in the black robes and is very much like his father. Everything with Han and Leia, granted, they don't have too much to do in the movie, but I like where they go. I like that Han is arguably the funniest in this movie. He was always funny, but I think he's the funniest in this movie. The reversal of the I love you, I know is great. On Endor, I like the whole forest battle. I like that we get to see the Ewoks use their natural resources to take out the Empire, which is good. I feel like the Empire is dumb, but also I feel like George has said that's the point, is that they think they could just control everybody and everything and not be opposed. And of course, as I said, I think first episode, the third act is probably my third act of the entire franchise, with Luke's fate, Palpatine's fate. I'm not mentioning Rise of Skywalker. Palpatine's fate, Vader's fate, Death Star 2. I love the look of Death Star 2. Granted, I know it's a little bit cheesy with like, especially now, how much time is in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, and how much that leads up to the Death Star, and then they just like casually make another one after that. I know that's a little iffy. But yeah, and I love Luke's lesson learned of Empire, where he gets the help of the Ewoks. He doesn't doubt them like he did with Yoda originally first there. Yeah, and I love also too, I don't like the special edition change that we see Jabba in A New Hope, because I feel like also the first act is also there to conclude Han's entire arc through the trilogy with owing debt to Jabba and being captured and all of that. So when we see the animatronic gloriousness puppet that is Jabba the Hutt, we understand that this is who Han owed money to, and this is Jabba's palace, like this whole hive of wretched scum and villainy, you know. And I feel like the first act is kind of more so meant to get Han back and also wrap up his arc with the smuggler stuff, and then we see Lando, you know, helping him out. You know, Ted, he's actually a good guy, full good guy. Yeah, I just love Return of the Jedi. We get the introduction of the green lightsaber. And yeah, that's my argument.
I'd say it's like a C tier movie. No. Yeah. I mean, you make a lot of really, really good points. I personally, I don't love the Ewoks fight against the Empire, just because like
Fair. That's fair.
Based on the stuff that we're shown, the Empire does later on, like in more Disney era stuff, I guess, but.
Yeah.
You know, you watch Rogue One and you watch Andor, and the Empire is really scary. And then you watch Return of the Jedi, and they are. I think George Lucas, I saw a cut from an article from an interview where he says the Ewoks are based on the Viet Cong.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a big misconception that the Empire is based on like Nazi Germany and stuff. And, you know, there's no denying that I think some inspiration can be taken, but he's said that it's pretty heavily based on America, which
yes,
a lot of people might
don't realize. I think
might be upset about hearing that, or might not understand that.
You gotta also think of the time that George grew up in America and made the first Star Wars. Yeah,
very charged time period.
Yes, but yeah, that's my stance on Return of the Jedi.
I don't know. It used to be my favorite. You know, the green lightsaber, the duel between Luke and Vader in this movie is emotionally so much better than the one in Empire. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think I do prefer the one in Empire just based on how the fight moves, and
that's fair.
Especially since Vader knows that it's his son and Luke doesn't. Luke's going for the kill. I see it as Vader is really just like testing him the whole time, seeing what he's worth. And
especially when he tries to freeze him, he goes, impressive, most impressive.
Right?
Like he's just kind of, studying him.
I think earlier in that movie, he's like, if we could turn young Skywalker to our side, he would be a powerful ally or something like that.
Yeah.
So I do love that, and I love the different locations for that fight, when the one in Return of the Jedi is really in the throne room. But there's so much tension in the throne room fight, because now, like, Vader is sort of trying to kill Luke. You know, you might argue against that, but I do think that he is, you know, he doesn't want to, but his master is right there. And now Luke is the one trying to turn him back to the light. Mm-hmm. So I think Vader, for the Emperor, is like trying to kill Luke. The Emperor wants Luke to kill Vader, and Luke wants to turn Vader back to the light. So everybody has a different goal going into that
something
duel,
going on,
which I really, really like. I absolutely love that Luke gets the high ground in Return of the Jedi, and Vader goes, Obi-Wan has taught you well.
And then he's just like, nope, and chucks that saber and brings him back down again.
I think that's really good. Yeah. I obviously just like maybe even a coincidental retcon. Yeah. But it works and it's funny.
Yeah. I will say, Return, I think pretty easily has the weakest second act in the trilogy,
Yeah.
with everything being established on Endor and everybody just kind of going around. You have like the speeder bike chase and like Leia meets the Ewoks and stuff like that, but that doesn't really compare to Han and Leia's romance growing in Empire and all the Death Star stuff in A New Hope. So I'll give you that. I'm not saying the whole movie is solid for Return of the Jedi. It has some flaws. It's probably just my personal favorite. But yeah,
That's
okay.
fair.
With that, Ted, are we going bottom of S or are we going A? For me, that's what I'm thinking.
For you, would you? You want to put it in bottom of S?
I'd say so.
I can allow that. I think personally, I would put it in A.
I'm fine with that too if you want to leave it there, honestly.
I do feel bad though because it's your favorite.
But honestly, that's fine, you know.
You know, I let's say put it in A for now. I might like it, you know, because when we go back and watch it, I've been watching Star Wars for so long, just like, oh, I'll just throw Star Wars on, whatever. But when we rewatch these movies, I'm gonna be watching them like with a much more critical eye, and that's making me excited. Yeah,
Okay, I'm good with that there.
All right, so current tier. S, we have Empire and A New Hope. A, we have Return of the Jedi. Original trilogy,
Yes.
Clear.
We're in prequel time now.
Yeah, and we're only 50 minutes into the recording. That's great. This might be a long episode. All right, episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I've grown to enjoy this movie a lot more in some ways, and in some ways I think my opinions have stayed the same. I will say I'm sorry. I just cannot get myself to really fuck with Jar Jar like that. You know, especially as I grow older, it's harder for me to be like, "Oh, Jar Jar's so funny."
Yeah.
You know, he steps in shit on Tatooine and he's like, "Oh, poodoo." And I'm like,
yeah.
All right, man, just put some.
And then he gets his
on, you know?
he gets his tongue tased and it goes numb.
Yeah, and it's just I'm just like, all right, man. So, but then like you got to think
third act,
and you got to think Qui-Gon Jinn, my guy, my goat, dude. Qui-Gon is he is so great. You know, I was just watching. Oh, sorry. Continue.
You go.
Okay. I was just watching or listening to an interview with a Star Wars author, Claudia Gray, who did a High Republic book, Into the Dark. And the High Republic has this concept called a Wayseeker, different from a Wayfinder. It is Wayseeker. Yeah. And then the device in Rise of Skywalker is
Sith Wayfinder,
a Wayfinder, yeah. So a Wayseeker is somebody who is a Jedi who has sort of detached themselves from the demands of the Order. And they don't really listen to the Council. They listen exclusively to the Force. And the author, Claudia Gray, was saying that she could very well, because she also wrote a book about Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan when they were Master and Apprentice.
I just looked into that this morning.
I do want to read that because I would love to get more Qui-Gon content.
Me too.
But she said like she could very easily see Qui-Gon when he's younger having a Wayseeker period. Mm. And I think that's valid as fuck, dude. Like if there's ever to be a Jedi in the prequel era in the movies, that would be a Wayseeker, somebody who
for sure
disregards the will of the Council and listens only to the will of the Force, because that is what Qui-Gon does. That's literally canonically why he's not on the Council. He would have been a Council member if he like obeyed and listened, but he didn't. He doesn't, and he is so great. He pushes Obi-Wan to kind of escape the rigid doctrine of the Jedi Order.
Just interesting why Obi-Wan just falls so hard into listening to everything.
I think it's the circumstances, you know, like he might have been ready to become a knight, but losing that figure in your life and not having a chance to discover your own place as a Jedi, to have to immediately raise and train another person, another Jedi, especially someone who has just come into the Order at 9 years old, you're going to kind of fall back
which is
on.
old.
It's very old, yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to definitely fall back on sort of base instinct, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting, you know?
I don't know, I think, for me at least, Qui-Gon is the reason. I think the highest I could go with Phantom Menace would be B. And it's like solely Qui-Gon.
I don't want there to just be silence. Sorry, I'm thinking.
I don't know, but you got to take into account all of it.
Yeah, I think the movie definitely feels its length. It feels long.
Definitely.
It sort of tries to do A New Hope, where it's like they go to talk to the Trade Federation, they escape to Naboo, they go to the Gungans, they go to Theed, they rescue the Queen, they go to Tatooine, they meet Anakin, they free Anakin, they go to Coruscant, they go back to Naboo, they fight, end of the movie. But
you go to a lot more places.
Yeah, there's just so much, and
but also feels like not a lot.
Yeah,
it feels like there's a lot going on, but not a lot going on.
Yeah, I will say I think I enjoy that hour-long behind-the-scenes documentary more than I enjoy the movie. I do think the choreography for the lightsaber fight is phenomenal. Absolute fucking peak stuff. I think Darth Maul is a crazy good design. Yeah, the prequels lightsaber fights in general are just on another level. I think the casting is pretty good. I do think some of the acting could have been better. That's whatever.
Some of the writing too.
Some of the writing could have been a little bit better. George Lucas went for much more like Shakespearean kind of dialogue and everything, which I very much understand what he's going for. And I think he gets better at writing it like that as the movies go on, because those first 3 movies don't really have that sort of vibe.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'll put it at B. I'll put it at B. I agree with that. It's got some highs. Like the pod racing scene is really good, but you don't. Whoa!
I like
Whoa!
All right, let me. Whoa! I like the pod race, but at a point, I kind of get bored with it. That's just me.
All right, guys. That's actually the end of the podcast. This is the last episode.
That's just like, I like it, but every time I watch it, at a point, I'm just like, all right, like, what else is happening? Like, what else is going on?
It does go. It does go for a while.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, it's still good, but yeah, I think the third act in Qui-Gon, I think, is what puts that movie in B.
I'll agree with that. It's a good movie. It's a solid movie. Like, B is not bad. You know, no. C also isn't bad. D is bad, I would say.
C is like okay.
Yeah. So S is like
just like nah.
The way in my mind S is like, this is in some ways like a perfect movie. This checks off so many of my boxes. A is like, I love this movie. This is really, really good. B is like, hey, I like it. C is like, it's okay. D is like, I was not a fan.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Attack of the Clones.
Is it better than Phantom Menace?
I used to say no. But lately, also, I will admit, like, a year or so ago, I watched this movie and I could not get it out of my head how unbelievably cringeworthy the dialogue between Anakin and Padme was. And it haunted me. And then I think the last time I rewatched this movie, I was like, okay, this is very much on purpose. Like, it's supposed to be painful because Anakin is having these emotions he's been told for the past 10 years to to suppress. But
Yeah.
so now he doesn't know how to like deal with this. He hasn't had anybody to like explain things to him. So he's just like, you know, and I think they do a good job of that when they first sit down with Padme and Anakin like speaks up and Obi-Wan's like, what? Like, what the fuck did you just say to me, bro? Because he hasn't dealt with Anakin like that.
Yeah.
Like really just like back talking him. Anakin's like
no.
acting out. And I do think Hayden Christensen does a good job, especially when he's after the Saiyan people and his mom, and he's venting about it to Padme. I think that's a really good scene. Her sort of falling in love with him right after that is something.
Yeah, that's a little. I mean, you could say there were sparks before that, but
She did such a good job at seeming so uncomfortable by everything he was doing until
which I don't think was the point.
Well, then they hit Naboo, and she's wearing that like black leather dress or whatever.
Yeah,
and they're sitting by a fire, and he's just like, "My heart aches for you." And I think she's like kind of into it, but she's like, "I don't know, we can't do it.
I'm a senator. I can't."
Yeah. So
but then end of the movie, they're married. Hell yeah, bro.
And I'm in this book Brotherhood. It's set like right after Attack of the Clones. Oh, yeah. There's a chapter where Anakin and Padme, in secret, go down to the lower levels of Coruscant, where there's like, no security, no Jedi, no clones, no politicians, just everyday people who don't know who they are, who don't give a shit. They have like a rinky-dink little rented speeder. They eat, and they're like having a good time. And Padme goes to her bag, pulls out blankets, lays them down in the back seat of the speeder, and says to Anakin, like, "You're a pilot. You could probably find a private space down here, couldn't you?" And then the chapter ends. So,
wild.
Like,
I mean, hey, at least you know they're in love, right?
yeah. At least they. Man, dude.
Yeah.
No wonder they had twins. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. For me, dude, I never get the feeling of wanting to rewatch Attack of the Clones.
Really? I think Obi-Wan's plotline is so interesting.
Kamino's cool. Like everything with Kamino and that development is cool. I don't know, dude. I've just always felt a disconnect with this one. And like when I was younger, I always used to just skip to the end to watch the arena and like
Arena's great, dude. Geonosis is fire. Dooku's a great character.
Dude,
Dooku being Qui-Gon's master, so good.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if this is a hot take. Maybe. No, I'm going to say for me at least, my least favorite lightsaber fight in all 9 movies is the end of this movie. Silence again.
Are you talking like Anakin, Obi-Wan, Dooku, or are you talking like Yoda, Dooku?
Anakin, Obi-Wan, Dooku, because Yoda, Dooku is more force fight.
I mean, there's definitely some lightsabery in there.
There is, but I don't know, dude. Especially the choreography with lack thereof of just shots of Hayden Christensen and Sir Christopher Lee just swinging them in front of their face.
Okay,
nothing's happening.
That is funny, especially because that's the first time that there's ever been light coming off of a lightsaber. And then the second the lights are back on, no more light coming off the saber.
There's nothing. Yeah. I don't know.
I definitely. Oof. Actually, I don't know. I mean, choreography wise, like the worst duel is definitely Obi-Wan versus Vader in A New Hope, but that's.
But I feel like this still has like the personal stuff of the personal history.
Once you know more so about those guys and
yeah,
all of
it gets better.
I don't know. I'd probably put this at bottom of B because I still think it's a fun movie. Like the third act does a lot.
I was thinking C, but I could go with B just for the Camino and arena stuff. Like, see my boy Kit Fisto out there?
Kit Fisto. Yo.
And
rest in peace, Coleman Trevor, dude. Rest in peace, Coleman Trevor.
Oh, my God. Seeing Kit Fisto with, like, the biggest smile on his face, just, like, force-pushing 3PO droid over.
I love the idea that he's like, hey, what the hell is this droid?
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Mace's decapitation of Jango Fett is insane, by the way.
Yeah.
He earns that purple. But I'll go bottom of B with you.
Okay. All right.
With that.
I feel like I don't know, Han. You compromised on A for Jedi. I'll compromise on C for Attack of the Clones.
Okay. All right.
You know,
now.
Okay. Listen. S tier.
Oh, I was thinking A.
This movie has me fucking hooked from minute one. Watching Anakin and Obi-Wan, who, as far as we've seen, have been relatively at odds with each other. You know, in episode 1, they didn't really interact. Obi-Wan wasn't really confident in Anakin. He didn't know what to think of Qui-Gon doing what he was doing, bringing Anakin with them. Mm-hmm. Attack of the Clones, they're butting heads for a lot of the movie. Anakin's complaining about Obi-Wan. You know, they're arguing a lot, especially like, he's like, you can't, like, he's like, put the ship down. And he's like, you'll be kicked out of the way. He's like, I don't care. You know, but seeing these two flying their ships in perfect unison and in sync and like doing the spins at the same time, watching them in a calm space, turn the corner and it's just war. The biggest fucking war we've ever seen happening.
Yeah.
Insane. The whole first act is great, dude. And
it's crazy.
I absolutely love seeing the real fall of Anakin Skywalker. He has no choice but to turn to the dark side based on the wisdom from the Jedi, quote unquote wisdom. The allure of Palpatine, you know, reeling him in with Darth Plagueis. You know, reading Brotherhood, man, there's a whole chapter from Anakin's point of view of him talking to Palpatine. And it's from Anakin's point of view. And he fucking loves Palpatine. Like, because Qui-Gon's not there, Palpatine is a guy who is basically his father figure right now. Like, Obi-Wan is his brother, his older brother. Palpatine is acting as Anakin's father figure because
he just weasels his way in.
He always tells Anakin exactly what he wants to hear.
Yeah.
Because Anakin was telling him about the Tusken Raiders in this book, and Palpatine is like, it's only natural. You know, they took a life from you. You take life from them. And Anakin's like, it's not only understanding, it's validation or something like that. Mm-hmm. So like, he has his hooks fucking deep in his claws, deep into Anakin.
Yeah, dude.
Just to see how far he's willing to go for Padme, the fear after seeing his vision with his mom, and the refusal to let that happen again.
Yeah,
like I love this movie, man. The Mustafar duel, the music, the choreography, Yoda versus Palpatine. That admittedly, Yoda versus Palpatine not as good as Anakin versus Obi-Wan. It's all right. Yeah. You know, it does become, it's like a little bit goofier, weirdly enough, with Palpatine just like literally drunk on power and finally, for the first time in decades, being able to be himself and not have to put on a front, which is crazy.
I think it's so whack when I absolutely despise the way he kills Kit Fisto and the other Jedi in that room. But the fight's weird with Yoda when he just like he throws like the Senate like sitting circle at Yoda and he's just like evil cackling as Yoda like freezes it and starts spinning it to send it back at him, and he's just like laughing. And then he chucks it back and he's like, wait, what? And he jumps away.
But I like the idea that Palpatine was using the literal Senate to defeat Yoda when he had used the Senate to basically defeat the Jedi Order, like as the Chancellor. I thought that was interesting. I think that's interesting. The duel itself, but you know, Anakin's
Everything with Anakin. Yeah, for sure.
and Obi-Wan,
Dude.
and that whole last bit of dialogue right before Obi-Wan leaves him on Mustafar, and the fact that you can hear a heartbeat, and the fact that Darth Vader is born at the same time as his children. Darth Vader is born at the same time as his wife dies. And you hear a heartbeat that stops when the helmet goes on, and the first time he breathes, the heartbeat picks back up. And like
chills.
I've seen people say
when you hear that first breath, it's chills.
Crazy. I will admit the whole no. I don't know.
You could have done without it. The scene's great up until that. Like if he just force crushes everything around him, and drops to his knees, that would have been perfect. But the yelling no was like whatever. Yeah. But yeah, like I agree with you. Like it's easily by far and away it has always been the best prequel. I've always loved Hayden Christensen in this movie. I don't know what it is, dude. I wanted a scar across my eye as a kid to be like, because I'm like, dude, that looks so dope. I want to look like him. And I didn't know how Scar was created at that point. But yeah, everything on Mustafar, dude, just the shot after he kills all of the Viceroy and everything on Mustafar.
Yes.
And it's that shot of him just looking out on Mustafar and he's just alone crying.
Yeah.
I watched it a couple weeks ago and I was like, see, like that's crazy. Like that he's doing this and alone crying when he tells R2 to stay with the ship. He's just alone crying and knowing what he has to do, but just afraid of what he's doing in a little bit, Yeah.
It's
just Hayden. Hayden's just great.
There's a bit in the Revenge of the Sith novelization where C-3PO asks R2 what's wrong with Anakin. And this is, I think, right before they leave for Mustafar. Yeah. And R2 says, I don't know. He doesn't talk to me anymore.
Dude, how do you make a droid so heartbreaking?
Right? Especially because, like, once you watch the Clone Wars, like, R2 goes missing for a bit. And Obi-Wan is just like, Anakin, it's just a droid. Just get a new one. And Anakin fucking refuses, dude. He wastes Republic time and resources trying to get R2 back.
And he does.
And then it adds more to when Luke always tells R2 to stay with the ship, or when he does an Empire, and R2 just does not stay with the ship.
No, he just goes with them.
And man.
And then he saves them. Then he saves them to get out of clouds. Oh my gosh. Dude, R2's the GOAT.
He is. And C-3PO's there at times too. C-3PO's not my GOAT, I'm sorry.
I like 3PO, but I've always loved R2.
Yeah.
All right, I could rock with you in S tier for that one.
Let's go. I will respectfully put it at the bottom of S tier, just because
I don't think I could put it above those two.
Yeah. I think this is a perfect, and that's why release order is so good, because this is the perfect way to end it. Like, it's just, and it's the end of the trilogy, and it's so sad and dark. With the
glimmer of hope with the twins.
Yes. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, you get that tiny spark. I love it. It's so good. Yo.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, wait, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I found out that apparently Anakin wasn't going to kill the younglings. It wasn't until that kid called him Master, where he was like, he remembered everything he had been denied by, or everything that was denied by the Jedi Order.
Gosh.
And so he killed them all. And also, when that kid jumps, like flinches back, it's because when Hayden Christensen, like, quote unquote, ignited the lightsaber, he goes, "Boo!" And he scared the kid to get him to jump back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, not awesome because Anakin kills kids, but awesome because Hayden Christensen's a good actor.
Yes.
It's sequel time, bro. And
this is gonna be.
This is where it's gonna get probably maybe a little dicey for some people.
All right. Just before we get into the sequels, just so that people know, S tier, we've got Empire, A New Hope, Revenge of the Sith, A tier, we've got Return of the Jedi. B tier, we've got The Phantom Menace. C tier, we've got Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
Now for The Force Awakens. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to be so blunt. I think Force Awakens is a solid B tier.
In front of Phantom Menace?
Yes.
That's exactly where I was going to put it, yeah.
I understand people's hate for this movie, but I do think a lot of it is unjustified. It is basically just A New Hope. I think it is a really fun movie. I think the plot keeps moving. I think the plot is fairly progressive. It doesn't really hold itself up too much. I'm a big fan of, Finn has an arc in this movie that is unfortunately kind of repeated in the next movie. I feel like
I love Finn's arc in this movie.
It's really good. It's him learning that there is more to the galaxy than just surviving.
It's his best arc in the trilogy.
Yeah. I would say
with that I would say it's different than Last Jedi, because with this it's learning that there's different to just like surviving and like fighting. In Last Jedi, I'd say like his lesson is that there's difference between like good, bad, and neutral. That like there can be people in the middle, That's true. I sort of see it. The Force Awakens arc is him learning to care for more than just himself. Yeah.
Because he goes back for Rey. He works with the Resistance to rescue Rey. The second he wakes up in The Last Jedi, he's asking about Rey. All he wants to do is get Rey away. And it's the end of The Last Jedi is where he learns that there is a cause worth fighting for.
You don't have to die for it to work. You can fight for it. Okay.
Yeah, his death in The Last Jedi would have been really bad if he did die right there, because it wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah, now I'm like, I'm glad Rose saved him, but then also I'm like, well, I kind of wish he had the whole Stormtrooper uprising thing in Rise of Skywalker to justify as that more. But yeah, and I would say, dude, Kylo Ren's introduction of Force Awakens, solid.
Yes, they do a good job immediately with the First Order Stormtroopers immediately killing civilians.
On Jakku,
yeah. So that I think is all right. He has a good intro. He's the best written character in the sequel trilogy. Like throughout the whole sequel trilogy, he has the best writing.
I would say his writing. I would say like him and Luke maybe have the best writing in the trilogy.
Yes. Luke is...
Which, hey, hot take. Not really, maybe. We'll talk about that. Yeah, pop that there. Yeah, when I saw this movie in theaters, I was like, yeah, Kylo Ren's like my favorite character. And I understand like people say like it's a carbon copy of A New Hope. If you watch A New Hope and Force Awakens and just look at how much development Vader gets versus how much development Kylo gets, mad different.
Yeah. A lot of Vader's development comes in 5 and 6, and then obviously the majority of it comes in the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
But Kylo Ren, they do such a good job at portraying a person who so desperately wants to be something that at a base level he isn't. He is forcing himself to be this villain, and finding out what happened between him and Luke, you can sort of understand it more. But it's the fact that one of his first real scenes is him speaking to the helmet of Darth Vader, saying, "I feel it again, the pull to the light."
Yeah, just like your grandpops.
Like the fact that he's not dealing with, like other Jedi, a pull to the dark. He is fighting to stay evil.
Which is such an interesting, interesting.
He thought that killing Han would help plunge him further into the darkness, and all it did, like they say in Last Jedi, it split him in two, essentially. It broke him, and people are like, "Oh, Rey beat Kylo Ren." She's running away the entire fight.
Also,
yeah,
Ben kills his own father.
Yes,
and he takes a shot from the bowcaster, which we've seen sends troopers flying.
Like 5-10 feet.
He takes one to the gut.
Yeah.
And is bleeding. This dude's not gonna win, bro. And also, same thing as Vader. Not maybe trying to kill her, but you need a teacher. I can help you.
Exactly. He wasn't trying to kill her. And it was
Finn. He did not care about Finn. He slashed his back, dude. I don't think he cared at all about Finn.
No, not even a little bit.
But once Rey gets Anakin's saber, that is quote unquote rightfully his.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think solid B is where it should be at.
Right. Just a little bit more on Kylo Ren, dude. Like, I love how he tries to have this calm demeanor like Vader, but so many times he just lashes out irrationally.
I love those scenes. I also love Han Solo in this movie. Absolutely love Han Solo's arc in this movie.
Harrison Ford's personal opinions on Han Solo's side, he does a great job.
Yes.
He does a really
I love
good
the little
job.
gimmick that we get with him, like first using the bowcaster and like that he likes to feel it and stuff like that. I like that.
Yes.
But dude, seeing Han's arc, if you watch A New Hope, it's where he doesn't even believe in the Force. It's all hocus pocus to the point where with his wife, who is Force sensitive, and as we find out later, was trained as a Jedi, his son being a failed Padawan of his brother-in-law.
Yeah.
And him going out there to change his son back to the light when he did not even believe about he didn't care about the Force, believe in it at all way back in the beginning. To see how far he's come to do that decision for him, I love it. Love it.
It is good. Yeah, man. The whole I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. And that line repeating in The Rise of Skywalker.
He says, "You do."
Yeah. Yeah. It's a solid movie. I have some issues with it. The Takodana stuff. The action's really good. The CG, like getting like modern day CG in Star Wars has been, I think, the biggest
so
deal.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, Ted.
Yes.
You want to make the next move for this one?
Let's okay.
All right, let's not even say it. Just put it where you think. Put it where you think.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I think. Let's hang on a second. All right. Let's. I'm nervous. All right. Because a lot of people hate this fucking movie, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand what it was trying to get across. I just want to say, for starters, this is visually, from like a cinematography standpoint, my favorite Star Wars movie. The best Star Wars movie.
I rewatched it a couple days ago. I was surprised at how intimately shot this movie is.
Yeah.
How many close-ups on people's faces, their hands, like the eyes, like it's so close. But then also you have these moments of, again, like Gareth Edwards, just this grandeur and this sense of scale.
Yeah.
So well done.
I just recently I've been putting off rewatching any of these movies because I knew we were going to watch them for this podcast.
I'll gladly just rewatch them again.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like also not sitting down and watching them. I'm watching them partially while making my Return of the Jedi puzzle.
Yeah. But this movie, when I first saw it in theaters, I remember seeing it opening night. The showing was at like 10 or 11 p.m. We didn't get out of the theater till like 1 a.m.
Hell yeah.
And I saw it with my parents, and they were so tired, and I was fucking giddy, dude, after getting out. I loved it. And then I let people get in my head and think it was bad, and then I ended up rewatching it years later, and I was like, yo, wait, this is fire. Whoa. I think Luke has a really interesting character arc, and people love to ignore the fact that he himself, yes, he straight up admits it in The Rise of Skywalker, which I don't love, but I don't love that he outright admits it, because his actions in this movie show that he acknowledges he was wrong.
Yeah. Which he knows by the end of the movie.
Yeah, like he's seen the death and destruction and pain that his father caused throughout the galaxy. He had faith that his father could come back to the light side. He is now training his nephew. And he senses a pull to the darkness in his nephew, and he's concerned about it. So he goes into the hut, and he looks into Ben Solo's mind. And he immediately just sees millions dead, suffering, pain, anger. And literally, it is an instinctive reaction to that as a Jedi, when he feels that emotion, that pain, that horror, he activates his lightsaber. He literally didn't even realize he activated his lightsaber. He's like, the second I did it, I was like, that was the wrong thing to do. He was like surprised that yes, like it was literally instinct as a defender, as a keeper of the peace, because at this point he is still trying to uphold the values of the Jedi from the prequel era. He definitely, okay. And also, he is not one for one upholding the values of the prequel era Jedi, because he allows compassion and connection. He is just, so he then failed, he failed Ben. Ben ran away, turned to the dark side, killed all the other people from the academy. And Luke is completely guilt-ridden. He 100% feels like it is his fault that he is responsible for the next Vader now. And instead of having this relationship with Vader where it's sort of like Vader sees him as a second chance to have a connection, Kylo Ren does not see that. He sees him as the fault. So Luke, of course, will hide away. The conclusion he came to was the Jedi need to end. It is the hubris and the fault of the Jedi for the atrocities in the galaxy. It is Rey who gets it through to him that, like, no. Yeah, but like, no. Change is inevitable. And it's fucking Yoda.
Yeah, dude.
Puppet Yoda. Who is who is ripped from the original trilogy. Failure is the greatest teacher.
We are what they grow beyond.
Yes, like, and Luke using the Force at the end of this movie, not for violence, not for offense, but to protect and defend.
Excellent.
It is the culmination of his arc as a Jedi, and him saying when Kylo Ren says, the Resistance is dead, and when I kill you, I will have killed the last Jedi. And he's like, amazing. Everything you just said was wrong, or every word you just said was wrong. The Resistance is reborn, and I will not be the last Jedi.
So good.
So fucking good. Like, he has a very clear character arc where
for sure.
He acknowledges that he was wrong in the movie, and people don't seem to understand that.
I think people just take it at face value once he throws that lightsaber over his shoulder that they're like, this is not my Luke. But it's like, from his perspective, he's on this island, like he says, he's like, to go there and be alone and die, like, because he failed. So when he sees the saber that was his father's, that was the first one that he ever used, that got him to be a Jedi, to want to be trained, and seeing where he is now, I don't think he wants to see that thing. No. I think it makes total sense why he wants to get rid of it. And for more of that defense for him with the Kylo thing, Luke has always been about defending his family. He's always been about defending the people he cares for. So, like you say, it's a reflex. When he sees a harm that could be done to people he cares about, he goes to defend it. So it's like, what happens when your family threatens your own family? And that's what happened. He acts on it. And that's exactly what happened at the end of Return when Vader threatens him with turning Leia. He acts out of emotion and instinct.
Isn't that crazy? It's a consistent character trait across the movie.
That's nuts.
Like, all right. And also, real quick, last thing I want to mention. There are a couple things I do have issues with. The Rose Finn subplot kind of drags at certain points. I'm not the biggest fan. I do understand why Holdo didn't tell Poe her plan. I think she should have just said, I cannot share it with you, or something like that. I don't think she should have treated him the way she did. I do absolutely love that when Luke goes to grab the saber from Rey, we see his robotic hand.
Oh,
Because
for sure.
again, it's not covered anymore. It doesn't have that synthetic skin. It's not under a glove. And you see that blaster shot that he got in Return of the Jedi. And so to me, that's even more so hammering home from his point of view right now. This lightsaber is responsible for putting him on the path that has led to the rise of Kylo Ren and the rise of the First Order. And it is also the path that he lost his hand. You know, his mentor died. His other mentor died.
And he became a legend.
And he became
Luke
the legend.
Skywalker.
You know, and
so good.
The fact that he's like, what do you want me to do? Stand down against the whole First Order with my laser sword? And that's exactly what he does.
Yeah. I think people are upset that he called it a laser sword when
George Lucas calls it a laser sword.
George Lucas calls it a laser sword.
It wasn't even his idea to call it a lightsaber. I think it was Alec Guinness whose idea it was to call it a lightsaber, I'm pretty sure.
Good dude, go Guinness. But even Kanan and Rebels calls it the laser sword. It's you know.
Yeah.
All right, Ted, with that said, where's Last Jedi going? Wait, actually, first question.
Yeah.
How long is our recording at?
We're at an hour 28 right now.
Okay. All right, not too much longer than our other ones.
Yeah, we got one more movie left.
I know where I'm looking at the exact spot that I think you're going to put it in.
Okay, listen. Listen. All right, let me just Leia, her whole plot line, you know, she was trained to be a Jedi, and also Star Wars, since when has Star Wars space been accurate? It's not sci-fi, it's space fantasy. So
I feel like it makes perfect sense for the daughter of Vader to have the Force.
It makes perfect sense for the daughter of Vader to have the Force, and it also, knowing that she was trained as a Jedi, makes perfect sense she was able to instinctively tap into something. And yeah, space in Star Wars is definitely not the same thing as space in real life. Clone troopers are able to briefly survive in space because of this vacuum seal on their helmet. Come on. You know, so Leia being Force sensitive, it doesn't bother me that much, especially because she does it and then she's in a coma for the rest of the fucking movie.
Yeah, until she's not.
Yeah.
But then dude, oh my God, the moment with her and Luke at the end of the movie.
It's
so sweet. It's so sweet.
So good. And the last thing Luke says to Kylo Ren is just verbatim Han Solo. See you around, kid. Come on.
So good.
All right, listen. I'm going to put it somewhere. I'm going to put it where I think you think I'm going to put it. And you tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Okay. Boom.
Okay. Yeah, man. Listen.
Is that where you want to put it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can put it there. This movie has issues. Sure, it's not a perfect movie, but it is unnecessarily divisive. I think people.
I think so.
Had a knee-jerk reaction.
If it killed your childhood, I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah. My biggest gripe with this movie is the fact that we never got a reunion between Luke and Han and Leia, but we get a Leia and Han, and we get a Luke and Leia, and
oh, dude, the moment when they're talking and you have the tiniest little trickle of notes that is the Luke and Leia theme from Return of the Jedi.
I mean,
so good.
It's the fact that they don't even need to speak.
Yeah, I would have loved to see the trio get back together.
Yeah, that would have been great.
It would have been great. But also, too, I remember the hype of when the first opening crawl for Force Awakens, when that came out and it said Luke Skywalker has vanished, how excited everybody was like, yo, what?
My thing is that you cannot be mad at The Last Jedi for not having a reunion when it was in The Force Awakens that Han died. Also, realistically, man, I mean, sure, realistically, you could have written a whole different movie, but the way it went, it was never going to happen. It was never going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Harrison Ford only really wanting to be in the one movie. He was like, I'll be in this movie if you kill me off, I'm pretty sure was his deal.
Yeah, and then he's in the best moment of the last movie that we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Oh God, dude.
Is that? Do you have a problem with that?
It should have been Duel of the Fates.
Okay,
I
so
think
you don't
they
have
needed a more refined script. I don't know if I have any evidence to try and get it over up to C. This is a pretty even split of tiers.
Yeah, this is it's not bad.
I like something that was introduced in Last Jedi that I like, the dyad.
Yes,
I like that still follows through in Rise of Skywalker. However, my problem, I like the sequels, and the most of my issues with the sequels is what happens in this movie.
Yeah.
I feel like it does not follow through on a lot, and I feel like this is the most reactionary thing Disney has put out, especially in terms of Star Wars.
Yeah.
With
cutting out Rose from the main cast.
Ridiculous.
Insanity.
Just putting Kylo's mask back together, I like the symbolism of it with like the red, and that like Samurai used to do that with gold. I don't like that he does it. That takes away the point of him breaking it in Last Jedi.
We didn't even, the whole arc that Kylo Ren goes through in The Last Jedi is insane, because there is a definite point where he would have gone with Rey, but it's like, man, I think it's that moment of calm right after they kill all the Praetorian guards. And if he didn't have that chance to like reflect on what he just did, I think he would have turned with Rey.
Yeah. Also, I feel like where the Praetorian Guard fight, I feel like that's where Rey should have lost like a hand or a limb or something.
Yeah, that would have been cool. And
like listen, Snoke, instead of flicking the Kylo saber out of her arms and just fling it back to him, like take the saber and just like fling it around and cut off something. But
yeah,
that's
Praetorian Guard fight, the throne room fight, it's not bad, but the choreo is...
I think visually it's awesome, but there are definitely moments of choreography where you're just like confused as to how that went through to final. But also, I think Rian Johnson shot it on film where there isn't playback. So... Yeah.
I
don't know, dude.
It's... Yeah, man, that's...
Rise of Skywalker, Finn should have had a better arc. Kylo should not have died at the end. The best moment in the movie is Han and Kylo. I think that scene alone is maybe the only scene, and maybe Luke lifting the X-Wing with Yoda's theme around it. Maybe those two I could maybe put up into C tier. But like every time I watch it, the first two acts, I'm like, all right, like, this is fine. And then I get to the third act where there's more Palpatine and the fight over Exegol. And then it kind of loses me. It loses me. And then I finish it. And then I'm just like, wait, we could have had something so much more different. And then it just falls apart for me.
My thinking is the 90% of the opening scene, gas, straight heat, fire, lava, Mustafar.
Mustafar, yeah.
It's so good. Kylo Ren just
a beast,
tearing through people, like using the Force to like just push all the dust and then open that thing to find the way.
That's another point
Seeker?
that I was gonna say.
Wayfinder,
Sith Wayfinder, yeah,
Wayfinder. Getting to Exegol, that whole moment of him like getting to Exegol is really cool until you hear Palpatine. And even then, I will admit, Palpatine going, him saying I created Snoke is stupid, but him saying I have been every voice you have ever heard inside your head. I think that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
It's a cool moment, but in principle, it's stupid. Again,
I absolutely hate that the trilogy leads up to Kylo being ruled by no one. In Force Awakens, he's under Snoke and kind of even Hux a little bit.
Yeah.
Last Jedi, he gets over Hux, kills Snoke, but he's behind Luke. Then Luke dies. Rise of Skywalker, Kylo should have been supreme leader, top dog, taking orders from no one, doing his thing.
Yeah.
But he again is just under the orders of Palpatine's ever shifting plan. that makes zero sense. And
It
I
makes
feel like
no
that is just
sense.
it's just such a disservice to Kylo's character. I feel
so
like
he wants. Let me see if I remember this. He wants Kylo Ren to kill Rey, but then he wants Kylo Ren to also bring Rey to Exegol, and then he wants Rey to kill Kylo Ren, but he also wants Rey to kill him, but he wants to kill Rey.
and then he just like forced life saps the both of them.
So
He's
that
like,
he didn't
screw it.
need
I'm just
either
going
of
to
them.
become I'm going to become me again.
And it's
Dude, it changes like 15 times.
It's so stupid. And that fuck ass line, bro. Somehow Palpatine has returned. Somehow Palpatine has returned. What do you mean, bro?
That became the line of the trilogy, and it's so bad.
The fact that
Feel bad for Oscar, bro.
Palpatine's speech to the galaxy announcing his return, which also makes no fucking sense.
Why would you announce that?
Yeah, why would you do that? But could have been in the movie. It's acknowledged in the opening crawl. Do you want to know where people hear or heard that speech? Fucking Fortnite. It was in a live Star Wars event in Fortnite. Like a fucking J.J. Abrams Fortnite skin walks out of the Falcon, gives like a pre-recorded speech, and then Palpatine's voice comes over and announces his return. And then everybody's like, what?
Terrible. That's so terrible.
So dumb. It is the stupidest thing ever. I hate it so much. The only things that I can positively say about this movie is that the scene of Kylo Ren turning back into Ben Solo with Han Solo.
Yes. It makes me almost tear up sometimes.
It's really good. I will say
like
one
both
moment,
of their acting is insane.
No, it's so good. And it's, again, him saying, I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that moment of Ben Solo running on Exegol with the blaster, just like huge Han Solo vibes when he just shoots that guy without looking. That single moment is great. Luke comforting Rey, catching the lightsaber.
Which makes sense for his character at this point in time. It doesn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah. But man, like the ancient dagger lining up with the ruins of the Death Star.
Okay, granted, I will say I like the Death Star 2 lightsaber fight.
Even I don't love it that much. I think the location is so boring. I just don't like visually, it's so bland to me.
That's fair. I like the 20 seconds of the beginning when Kylo just dodges every attack.
Oh, yes. That is cool. I like when he comes out of like the water and he just like turns his lightsaber upside down.
I love what happens before that moment because it's one of the few times. Actually, no, that's wrong. But it's a moment with a lightsaber fight where there's no music and it's just pure sound effects. And I absolutely love that. I like how they utilize the dyad and that they use the same moves and that we actually see like they use the force to stop the blade, which is cool. I like that fight. I like that fight and I like it.
I'd have to rewatch
thematically, but the rest of the movie I really don't have.
Finn has no arc. Poe has no real arc. I mean, like Finn, what? Finn's force sensitive, apparently.
Which, I mean, granted, you said you wanted Finn as a Jedi.
No, so here's the thing: is
we just wish it was more confirmed in this one. I think.
I wish that there was more. I wish it was built up more throughout the movies. And also, Rey being a fucking Palpatine is so dumb. Not because she's a Palpatine, but because the bullshittiest of all bullshit retcons to have Palpatine say, your parents were nobody, you're nobody, but not to me. Bars.
No, Kylo says that, yeah.
No, yeah. And then to have in Rise of Skywalker him go, your parents were nobody.
They chose to be.
But your granddad actually was not a nobody. It's like, shut up, dude.
That's also one of my least favorite parts about the movie. One of my favorite parts about Last Jedi is that it confirmed Rey was from deadbeat parents that left her and that she is from nothing. I thought that was great. And that this one just goes back to like, oh my God, she should not be a Palpatine at all. Like, it doesn't even make sense. And even if it does, like, at the end when she says like Rey Skywalker, which I don't really.
Oh, I have opinions on that. You go first, but I want to give my 2 cents on that.
I think I know you're gonna bring up. She could have said Rey Palpatine and changed that name into something good. Like, to put a stain on the Palpatine name and to turn it into something good, going against everything that he worked towards to be evil and everything like that. Granted, it would be very hard to make people not afraid of that name.
Yeah.
But also with the Skywalker thing, Ted, I think you want to go because I think I know you're going to say.
Okay, listen. In terms of the context for the movie, I actually don't have that big of a problem with her going as Rey Skywalker because a lot of Star Wars themes are about found family. You have Rebels is a great example. Bad Batch,
Clones.
The clones. It's choosing your own name. It's choosing your own identity. It's choosing who your family is. The Skywalkers through Leia, like Han is sort of a mentor for her in The Force Awakens. Then Luke becomes kind of a mentor, and then Leia is her actual fucking Jedi Master. I understand that. I don't like it on the principle that I just don't think she should have had a last name. I think she should have stayed a no one. I just think she should have been Rey.
100% agree.
That's my thing. Within the canon of the movies, I understand it, I accept it, and I don't have that big of a problem with it. Her being Rey Skywalker, I think is great because then she's a Skywalker, like Master Skywalker. That the name carries on, the legacy of the family carries on, even if she's not blood related. I am upset by the fact that the Skywalker family is dead. Aside from her, and I understand she's honoring them by taking on the name, but the Skywalker family, like, you're ending the Skywalker saga by killing the entire bloodline, which to me is insane. So I don't know, man. Yellow lightsaber though, rep, dude. It's great. I love it. Hey, remember when they thought Chewie died for about 5 minutes?
Wait, what'd you say?
Remember when they thought Chewie died for about 5 minutes?
Oh my God. Dude, again, robbed from... There was that, the deleted scene, deleted concept of them having Chewie in holding and Kylo looking into his mind and seeing memories of them when he was little.
Yeah,
Why
man.
take that out?
So stupid. Yeah, I mean, it's a D tier movie for me, man. It's my absolute least favorite. I would rather watch Attack of the Clones, I think 100 times over Rise of Skywalker right now. It has fans. I don't have a problem with people who like the movie. Some people are able to appreciate what the movie does, the message, but I am unable to.
Yeah, more definitely goes against it than with it.
Yeah.
It's tough, and especially knowing what we could have gotten instead of it. Yeah. Well,
Duel of the Fates will be fun to talk about.
I cannot wait to talk about that. Cannot wait to talk about that.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
All right. Well, that's the agreed upon.
This is the
ranking.
This is the January 30th, 2025 Starlight Broadcast Skywalker Saga tier list. Quick little interruption to the actual episode. I realized while editing that we forgot to say out loud what the final tier list was for the audio people. So, final Starlight Broadcast tier list of the Skywalker Saga is S tier, Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope, Revenge of the Sith. A tier is Return of the Jedi and The Last Jedi. B tier is The Force Awakens and The Phantom Menace. C tier is Attack of the Clones. and D tier is The Rise of Skywalker. Back to your regularly scheduled end of the podcast. Maybe later this year, when we've watched all the movies and talked about them all, could be fun, you know.
Yeah, could be interesting.
Fun. Could be fun to revisit. But I relatively agree with this. Like this isn't bad.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like obviously, you know, I have like maybe some things I would move up, some things I would move down. But yeah, I think it's all right.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. All right. Well,
this monster of an episode is
this is our longest one yet. So if you're still here, hey, thank you. Thank you very much.
Mad props. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you got no fucking life if you're still lit. No.
Yeah. If you have no life, thanks for sharing that non-life with us.
Yeah. Or if maybe you're on a drive or something. That's when I listen to most of my podcasts.
Yeah, no, definitely.
All right, I got nothing left to say, man. How about you?
All right. No, I'm good. All right, with that concludes the Starlight Broadcast ranking of the Skywalker Saga movies. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We know it's a little bit longer today, but yeah, we thought this would be kind of a good episode to have towards the beginning of the show because this is the bulk of what everybody knows is these movies. So wanted to get that out. Yo.
Rogue One in A, Solo in B. Just for the people that are curious, that's my thoughts.
Okay, all right.
I think Solo's in my top 5 on Letterboxd because it's a B tier movie, but I love it so much.
All right, that's fair. Do I have to put Rogue One?
You don't have to. I'm just letting the people know who want to know. You know.
Okay.
If you put Solo lower than B, I swear to God, though.
Nah. I think Solo and B. I think I like Force Awakens more than Rogue One.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'd go for B tier. I think I'd go Force Awakens, Rogue One, Solo, Phantom Menace. I think that's where I would land.
Okay. I think I think Rogue One would probably be just under The Last Jedi. Maybe, I don't know, dude. I fucking love Rogue One. Like, just to see, war.
I do like it more now than I used to. But I still don't think I'd love it, but it is really, really good.
All right. I'll take that.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's the extra 2 movies too. So there we go. With that being said, thanks everybody listening to Starlight Broadcast, yet another Star Wars podcast.
Yeah.
We'll talk to y'all later. See you next time. Transmission out.